Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Masterclass for Pivot. Now, I wanted to show Pivot in a way where you can understand the power of it. Now, if you look on the screen, you will see a complete sales dashboard created just using pivots. So, it's very interesting, it's very nice. What we are going to do is, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. This is the final outcome. This Excel that you are able to see, this pivot that you are able to see, is the final outcome. I recall the first time I made this, my manager was very happy because he was able to get every detail at one place. He can just click on the region, he can click on the status, and he will get everything that he needs at one dashboard. This dashboard is created only and only using pivot, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm sure you have watched the last four videos that we have made. So, but let me now just combine everything for you, and the end result will be this dashboard. So, let's start from the beginning. Here we go. And in this, I will teach you everything you need to know about pivot tables, even you have never used one before. Now, one more thing before we start. I have included this exact Excel workbook in the description. Download it, open the orders sheet, and follow along with me. Learning pivot table is a much easier task when you practice instead of just watching. Let's start. Now, first, let's look at the data. Every row represents one customer's order. We have order ID, order date, customer ID, employee ID, region, city, product, unit price, what is the discount, revenue, profit, delivery days, and order status. There are more than 2,500 records here. Imagine trying to summarize all of this manually. That's exactly why pivot table exists. Now, what are you supposed to do? Let's follow along. Now, you click inside any of the cells. Just follow along my cursor and my instructions. The first thing you have to do is click inside the order data anywhere. Then go on Insert, Pivot Tables. You will see this. Now you have an option of a new worksheet or an existing. I prefer a new worksheet, but let me show you how it happens in the existing. If you click on existing, you can use the same sheet as well. Say you click here, it defines where it is supposed to be and hit OK. And here you go. But this is not how I prefer doing it. Let me show you because it does not look that clean. Let me show you how I do it. Click anywhere, insert, pivot tables, just hit OK. It will give it to you in a new sheet. Now, when you do this, Excel detects the entire sheet on its own. Now, this is why keeping your data clean with one row of headers and no blank rows is so important. Now let's go back to the pivot. Let me explain the fields first. Now, you will see something that scares almost every beginner, this panel. But don't worry, it's much simpler than it looks. Think of it like building blocks. All the columns are listed here, filters are here, rows and values. This is the first video, so we will only use rows and values. Now the question is for the region. So let's drag region to rows and see it neatly gives you the rows east, north, south and west. Now I want to see the sales by region. So I'll just scroll to revenue, drag revenue to the values. Now here you go. And just like that, Excel has summarized over 2,500 records into a clean report. Notice what Excel did. It found every unique region, grouped them automatically, added all the revenues. Do you see sum of revenues in the value. So what it did, it grouped automatically, added the revenues together. There was no formula needed, no sorting, no filtering, no copy pasting. Now let's make it more professional. Just click on any of these values, right click, go to number format, and let's select currency, considering we are talking about money here, and hit OK. And it's done. Now, you want to select it from largest to smallest, right click again, go to sort, largest to smallest, and that's it. Managers usually want to know who's performing the best. So it's always advisable to sort it out from largest to smallest, or depending on if for any of the datas, if lower is better, then sort it out from lower to higher. Whenever you're sending out the data to the manager, it's always in your best interest if they do not have to make efforts to read the table that you have sent across. Managers usually want to know who's performing the best. Now, one more thing I want to show you. Let's go back to our data. Revenue. So the very first revenue is 50,000. Let me change it to 100. Let's go back and see what happens here. As you can see, there is nothing that has changed. Now, why is that? It is because the pivot does not automatically refreshes its data. Click any of the cells inside the pivot table that you have created, right click, refresh. You see the numbers have changed. Do you want to see that again? Let's see. We are talking about East region. So let's focus on the East region one more time. East is 230560660. Let me refresh. 230510760. You see, there's a difference that has happened now because we are refreshing. This refresh button is something that you're going to use a lot in real world. And just like that, congratulations, you have officially created your very first table. Now let's build on it instead of starting from the scratch. Now let's add another row. Where is the city? With region, let's look at city as well. So if you see, it again summarizes everything basis that. So in rows, you have region. In region, it has summed up everything, every revenue in that region. And then it has further bifurcated it to the south regions, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, and Kochi, east, west, and north as well. So you will be able to define what is it from each and every region, and even within the region, you will be able to see that where exactly the sales are happening and what are your areas of concern. Now, this what we have just created is called multiple row levels. Think of it as a hierarchy, region and city. Now, one feature I absolutely love is that you can expand and collapse the hierarchy. You see here, you can just have to click on the minus and the plus, and you'll be able to expand them and collapse them. Now, obviously, here are four. You can easily collapse them. You can easily expand them just like that. But it will not always be like this, right? There will be multiple different layers to it. So what you have to do is simply right click. If you will see, there's an expand and collapse button here. Click on collapse entire field and everything is done. Now this keeps your report clean while still giving you access to detailed information. Now let us further drill down on this. Let us see that who is exactly giving you the maximum revenue. So if I go to the employee ID and put it under city, Now let me expand just south, and you'll be able to see who is giving you the maximum in Bangalore, who is giving you the maximum in Chennai, and you will be able to further drill it down that who exactly is your top performer and who exactly is your area of concern. As always, you can right click, sort from largest to smallest. Imagine doing this manually for thousands of rows. It would take forever. Pivot table just does this in seconds. Let me just collapse it all. And let's look at something else. Let me just drag product in column. Now, rows organize information vertically, columns organize information horizontally. Watch what happened when I drag product category into columns. Now we can compare product performance across every region at the same time. Now let us do something else. Remove product, and let's look at the order status. Now you can see that which is pending, how much is pending, or how much amount it is actually cancelled out of that as well. The best part about pivot table is that nothing is permanent. You can play around, remove order status. Let's look at the profits. You can play around, remove the order status. You can check order date, how many in Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June, July, etc., etc. So nothing is permanent. You can continue to play around and figure out what information makes sense to you and what information you actually want to use. You are not rewriting any formulas here. You're simply asking different business questions. Now imagine your manager asks, show me sales by region and product. All you have to do is remove this. Now you have region and you have product. Here you go. You're rearranging the table and you're getting the answer. Later he says, also show me the region and city wise instead of product. Show me the delivery status. And here you go. You just simply rearrange the table and it works. Now, if you want to see the cities instead of regions, you just overlap each other. Whatever comes first is the set, the next one becomes a subset of that. Notice how changing the order changes the story your report tells. The flexibility is one of the biggest reasons pivot tables are used in almost every office. So today you learned how to create multiple row levels, use column for comparison, expand and collapse reports, rearranging a pivot table without writing a simple formula. These are the skills that turn a simple pivot table into a professional reporting tool. Now imagine your manager asks you questions like, show me only the north region. Which are my top 5 products? What percentage of total revenue comes from each category? Now, instead of manually filtering to thousands of rows, we are going to answer all of these questions in just a few clicks. Now, this is the report that we created in previous lesson where we were trying to understand what is the status for everything basis on their region. It will also be further drilled down to the cities in that region as well. Let's make it more interactive. Now let's start from filters right here. What you will do, let's see region. Suppose you want to know, I don't want to know everything. Give me the region that I want to know. Show me only the north region. So you go to filters, click on north. Okay. Now if you want to see west, click on west. Okay. Now this report updates instantly. Instead of creating four different reports of north, south, east, and west, we simply use one report, changing the filter. Now, here's another thing. If you want to see two of the regions together, all you have to do is select multiple. Say you want to see west and east, click on both of them, hit OK. It gives you both of these things combined. Let's go to all for now. Now, imagine your manager is only asking for the Delhi data. Select, unselect everything, select north, and here you go. Here's the Delhi data for you. Now, if your manager wants to know which product generates the highest revenue, so what we'll do, remove the order status, go to revenue is right here. You'll be able to see, and you don't want to know the cities or the region anymore. You want to know the product. So you just drag product here. What do you have to do? Select any of the cells here in this region, select any of them, right click, sort largest to smallest, and that's it. So the cabinets is something which gives the highest revenue here. Now here's the tip for you. When someone asks you who's performing the best, 90% of times the next question will be who's performing the least. So you go from smallest to largest, and you can say monitor is something that needs work upon, or we need to let go because it's not giving us much revenue as compared to cabinets. It will make you sound more knowledgeable as well. Here's one of my favorite pivot table features. Right click in all the row labels, go to filters, top 10, hit OK, and here you go. It gives you the top 10 options right there. Or right click, filter again. If you want to see just top 5, let's make it top 5. Okay. Now instead of showing everything, Excel now displays only the top 5 performers. This is perfect for monthly review meetings. Now until now, let's let's first change it back. Now until now we have been showing revenue as a sum, but pivot tables can summarize data in many different ways. Let's go to value field settings. Now it can give you sum, count, average, maximum, minimum, product, numbers, standard deviation, etc. etc. Now for sales, sum makes sense. But imagine you're analyzing customer ratings. The average becomes a lot more important. Now, the other part in the same dialog box, show value as. This is where the pivot table becomes really impressive. Let's say we want percentage of grand total. Hit OK. Now, this makes a lot more sense. As we already said, cabinet gives you the highest number. It gives 13.07% of the total revenue. The laptop gives you 11%, the notebook gives you 10%, the mouse gives you 10%, and so on. This helps answer questions like which category contributes the most in overall sales. Now, if you want the actual calculation again, nothing much you need to do. Again, click on value settings, show as value, go to no calculations, and okay, here you are. Now, imagine your manager is preparing a monthly business review. Your manager asks, show me only the North region, only top 5 products. So you went to North, sort it from highest to lowest, and then either you can just show 5 from here, top 5, or if you want to show it in a better way, here, filter, top 5. Now, using pivot table, it took less than a minute. This is exactly why business analysts love pivot. Now, today we learned how to filter reports, sort reports, display top performers, change value settings, and show percentage. Now, these are some of the most powerful pivot table features you will use in every office reporting. Right, guys. So, my manager wants to know the region wise data for this order status. He wants to know the region. He wants to know what happened in a particular region in south and east. He also wants to know what product type revenue was there and what was the status. So it will easily take few hours, right? Or I can simply go to my pivot, remove these, click E, have the region wise and city wise data for the revenue, product wise revenue, and product wise status. It's as simple as that. Took me less than 30 seconds to provide that answer to my manager. Interesting, right? Now, let me show you how to build this from the scratch. Now, imagine you're presenting your report to the manager in a meeting, and your manager suddenly asks, can you show me the North region? Then he asks you, can you show me March? Can you show me the actual amount of electronics, etc., etc.? You cannot keep adding filters for that. This is why there needs to be a ready report that you can use and it will look very professional. It's called slicer and timelines. Now, once you have learned these, your reports will start looking like professional dashboards. So let's start from the scratch and we will go to this table. Now, how we'll do that? First, we create the pivot table. We will take a new table for that. Now, let's see. We want region wise revenue. Now, the first thing we have to do is we have to make now first thing we have to do is we need to add a slicer. Now, how do we do that? You go to pivot analyze and you go to insert slicer right here. We need slicer for region right now. Click OK. Now, here it is. Now, if you click on east, it will go show you just east, simply for north, west, and south. Now, let's move it right here. Now, this is one thing. What else we need apart from that? The other part, which is a very beautiful feature of pivot, is it can give you timelines. Now, how do you create the timelines? Again, pivot, analyze, insert, timeline. Now, timeline is something which is very specific to dates. It will only give you dates, considering this particular data only has order date as dates. So it is only giving you one option. You click OK, and here it is. It is giving you order dates here. Now look how it is going to work. Now we say we need north. Let's do one more thing to for it make it more clear. Add cities so that we see those numbers changing. Now let's go to, we need, say, North April data. Do you see how the numbers have changed here? Now, if you want just the South March data, it will show you that as well. Perfect. Now, what is the other things that people might require? People may ask you to say what is the total revenue that we have got from the product type, right? Now, there are two ways for that. You can remove this, you can add a different pivot, or you can create another pivot. Now, there are two ways to do that. One way, you go here, insert, pivot table, select an existing sheet. Now, go back to the sheet where you were working, click here, and OK. Here's your second pivot. Now, let's remove this, move it here. This pivot. So, we want product wise revenue, right? Perfect. Now let's think of some other thing as well. Now this is one way to create a pivot. Now say we need, uh, you can say, delivery order status, product wise order status. Now one way I've already told you how to add another pivot, insert. The other way is you copy the whole pivot, control C, copy, control V, paste. You have a different pivot now. Now on this pivot, we do not need sum, we need the order status. Now here you go. Now if you select east, it will give you the data for east. If you will click north, it will give you data for north. But there's a problem. This is not reflecting on this table and this table as well. So another thing that you can do is click on region, click on your slicer, right click, report connections, connect all the pivots together. Why it is 4, 5, 6? Because I already created 1, 2, and 3 in the previous one. Hit OK. Same goes for order status, right click, report connections, connect all the 3 together. Now you see, if you will go for north, it will give you that time. Even if you change the month, it will change everything, because now every report is connected. So right now what you are seeing is north's data from the point of view of revenue, north's date for the month of April. So right now what you're seeing is north's data for April with respect to the total revenue, product type revenue, and order status. Same you can do for south, same you can do for west. Now, what if you want to select multiple regions together? Right click, multi select regions. Now you can select multiple regions together. Sounds interesting, right? Now let's try to beautify this report because it will go to everyone. You will be showcasing this in front of a lot of people. So it's very important that when you open the report, it is easy to understand and there is not much of a distraction and it does not look all over the place. So first, what we are going to do, we are going to remove all the borders. This is what I prefer doing because then it looks like a clean slate. Now let us put the borders back for our reports, and let's have slicers up. How are we going to do that? Select region, go to slicer. Now you see column, it has one column. Change it to 4 because we have 4 right now. And we will just drag it here. Same goes for your orders. Let's drag order dates here and region here. And let's adjust it a little bit. I understand if you feel that this is something which is not important, but trust me, as someone who is a working professional, this makes a lot of sense and it makes you look a lot more professional. So now you have this data ready, just like how I showed you in the beginning. If someone asks you what is the data for East and North, remove other two. This is what the data looks like. They say, okay, fine, this is what is for the April. But what about March? What was it like in the March? And here you go. No formulas needed. The data is right there. First, it is very easy for you to showcase it to everyone. Second, it becomes very easy for others to use that as well in case you are planning to publish the reports, where people can actually do their own maths. People can check the data the way they want. After completing all 4 previous lessons, this is where we have reached. An interactive sales performance dashboard. Every KPI, every chart, every pivot table is updated instantly with the click of a button. Now, the best part is that everything we are building today is using only and only the concepts you have learned in the past 4 videos. We are not going to use any VBA. We are not going to use Power Queries. We are not going to use advanced Excel formulas. That comes later. This right now, right here, is just pivot tables, pivot charts, slicers, and timelines. Now, if you haven't downloaded the practice workbook yet, you'll find the link in the description and in the pinned comments. Download it and build the dashboard along with me. Now, before we start building, let's quickly understand what we are creating. At the top, we have the interactive filters. In the middle, we have our key business metrics: total revenue, total orders, total products, and delivered orders. These are 4 major areas which any stakeholders will ask for. So the very first step is always to decide what do you want to show in the dashboard. That is something that has to be in your head before you start building your dashboard. Below, we have our charts because when you show things visually in a dashboard, it looks more appealing, it's eye catching, and people are able to understand it quickly. Stakeholders will not have that much time that they will go through all the numbers. They want to show the charts. And finally, we have pivot table which has all the data available so that in case someone wants to deep dive, they can do so. Now let's build this from the scratch one more time. So this is the data that we used, right, to complete the whole dashboard. Now, the very first thing, as I said, is something that needs to be in your head, that what all do you need? This is something you will get by having a discussion with your stakeholders or by having a discussion with someone who's experienced. You will know that what kind of question comes, what kind of pointers your stakeholders are looking for. For now, I'm taking total revenue, total orders, total products, and delivered orders. Now, there are different ways to make this dashboard. However, most of them will include other topics as well. That's why I have made this dashboard completely using only and only pivot tables. Let's get started. So the very first thing that you have to do, you have to create another sheet. Let's call it dashboard. Let me just, it has to look beautiful. We'll do merge and center. We will use the sales name as sales performance dashboard. Of course, you will type it over there. However, I've already created one sheet, so I don't want to waste your time by typing it out. Change it to 20 and give it the color that you want. I personally prefer this color and I personally prefer it to be white. Another thing that you will do for the dashboard, select everything, go to view and remove the grid lines. Now this is one blank page that you have. Your dashboard will look beautiful with this. Now let's put some pivots. Go to orders, select everything, pivot table. Now this time we will use an existing. Go to dashboard, select the area where you want this pivot, hit OK. Now first thing I want is what is the total revenue. Let's put another pivot. Let's have order IDs. Now instead of sum, you want count of order IDs here. Another. Let's see the total products. And let's put another one. These are your KPI cards, by the way. This is something which stakeholders will definitely appreciate if you do. Let us see the delivery. So here are the four KPIs that everyone will be looking for. Now, what do you want to do in between? The first thing that I'll do is I will hide these three because not everything on the KPI has to be seen because it needs to look beautiful. Let's call this total revenue. We'll call this total orders, total products, and we have delivered orders. Now, these are the four that you need to look at. For now, let me put all of them in the single color, but you get the idea. We will beautify it later. Now, the next thing we will have to do is to add more pivots because we need graphs. So let me create another sheet by the name pivot. Now here we will add all our pivots together. Let me insert one pivot sheet on the pivot. Here you go. This will give you, let's say, region-wise revenue. Very important. We'll remove the blank. As always, there are two ways to create another pivot. I would rather create it this way. Second graph that we need is top five products by revenue. Why that is important? Because everyone wants to know that which products are doing good, which products are not doing good. Let me tell you one more time, if you have not watched all my videos, uh, please go ahead and do that because everything comes from those videos only. Now we go to filter, top 10, make it top 5, and here you go. Next thing we need, again, we have already copied this pivot. All I have to do is Control V. We will need revenue trend by months. We will remove any anomalies from this. This can also be done right by combing the data, which obviously is something which is out of scope for this particular video. And then we need a final one, which is order status distribution. Remove this, remove this. We will go to order status. We'll remove the blank. Here you go. Now, this is the dashboard that we are creating. We already have the total revenue, total orders, total products, and delivered orders. Now, what else we need? We need graphs that will come through this. But before that, let's make it a little more streamlined. Let's introduce some slicers. What are the slicers? You already know if you have watched my videos before. If you have not watched, please go ahead and do that. Now, how I have created more space in between? Control, Shift, and plus sign. These are some of the shortcut keys that you can use. Now, let's create some slicers. Pivot analysis, insert slicer. The very first we need, which we always look for, is the region. Hit OK, right click, size and properties. Number of columns should be 4 and just adjust it after that. Here you go. Region. What else we need? We also, someone can also ask from the order date. So what we need for that? Again, we will go to pivot analyze, insert timeline. There's only one timeline, which is for the order date, and here it is. What else? We may also need order status. Again, pivot analyze, insert slicer to the order status. Okay, right click, size and properties. Number of columns should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Hit OK. Okay. Now this is all the data we need. We just need one more slicer because someone might ask which product has what value, which product is trending at what value. So we need products. We have these many products with us. Again, right click, size and properties. Let's make it 12. Or let's make it 6 because then it will look even better. Here you go. Yeah, perfect. Just a little bit of beautification is needed. And here you go. Now, I personally would prefer to make this beautiful first and then go for anything else. Why is that? Because everything else needs to be placed where it is right now. And once that is placed, I really do not want to change. So again, Control Shift plus plus, and it's coming a little down, which is good. Since these are your KPI metrics, I would prefer to give them different colors. Money should be green. This can remain blue. This can go to a different color. And of course, you can change, you can customize the way you want to. Let's give it a striking orange. Too much. Let it be. So here they are. Let's beautify this a little. You can select it all. And here you go. Of course, you can beautify it by giving it a background and things like that, but you get the picture. Now let's come to the next interesting part. Let's add some charts to it. Now the very first one, let's do this. Obviously, you will not show these numbers in the chart. You would rather want to show percentage. So what you have to do, you are here, go to value field settings, show value as a percentage of grand total. And here it is. Go to insert after selecting everything. You want a pie chart for this, right? Let's add data labels to it. These data labels can be white, so that it will look good and we were able to understand. Remove anything which does not add any value. And let's name it revenue by region. Make it bold. Now you can just cut it from here, go to the dashboard and just paste it here. It's that simple. The next one that you need, top 5 products by revenue. Go to insert. In fact, first right click, sort smallest to largest. Now insert, and here you go. Remove anything which is unnecessary, because ideally they would prefer it to be visual. Right click, hide anything which does not need to be there. Everyone understands, if it's just one, it will be total. So here you go. Let's name it top 5 revenue by product. Simply cut it from here, go to the dashboard, paste it over here. You can, of course, work around, make it smaller, make it bold to match the other one. Now, the third one you would like is to see the trends, right? Let's look at the trend from Jan till December. Again, select everything, insert. Now, this time you want to show something like this, a trend itself. Now, as always, remove anything which is not required. This definitely is not required. This needs to be hidden. This needs to be hidden. And here it is. Let's name it revenue trend by month. Bold it, cut it from here, and paste it here. Let's put a final pivot for the order status. Now, this will look really good in a donut. So you go to insert, pie, you see a donut over here. Here it is. If you will right click, go to format data series and look at whole size. Let's increase it. Perfect. Since we have space, better to add data labels as well. Let's hide this. No need to hide the other part. Let's rename order status distribution. Bold again. Just remove it from here, add it here, and here you go. This is what your dashboard will look like. What else we need to add? For the reference, like I said, that everyone may want a different cut, let's put a pivot here as well. Again, insert, use an existing location, go to dashboards this time, add it here, and let's add region, products, and revenue. You want to beautify it a little bit more? Let's do that too. Let's make the grids right. Let's remove the blank. And let's use conditional formatting for say green. Perfect. Let me just reduce this a little so that you guys can see the beauty of it. Here you go. Now, of course, you can beautify it more, but if you look at it in a nutshell, it's the same one. I obviously can continue to beautify it more and more for you, but that is just going to increase the video time. So this is what it looks like here, and this is what I created and showed you in the beginning. You see, region, order status, everything is there. Of course, I've beautified it a little bit more, font size and everything, but it's practically the same thing. You can do a hit and trial and you can work on it on your own and it will remain look exactly like this. Now, this dashboard is fully functional and built entirely using the pivot table concepts we have learned in this series. In future Excel videos, we will make it even more polished by learning professional dashboard design techniques like KPI cards, dynamic tiles, and advanced formatting. So keep watching. With that, we have reached the end of our 5-part pivot table series. 5 videos ago, we started with nothing more than just a sheet of dull numbers. Today, we have learned how to transform that data into an interactive dashboard that you can actually use in your office. And here you go. Congratulations. If you have watched this complete masterclass, you have learned one of the most valuable Excel skill used in almost every office. We started with creating our very first pivot table, then learned how to organize the data using rows, columns, and multiple levels, applied filters, sorting, and value calculations, made our report interactive using slices and timeline, and finally build a professional interactive dashboard from scratch. If you have completed this entire course, give yourself a pat on the back. You have come a long way. Now, here's the next skill I'll recommend learning. Pivot table helps you summarize data, but what if the manager asks, find the salary of employee 1402? Or tell me which department Rahul belongs to? Or fetch the latest price of this particular product? That's where XLOOKUP comes in. It's one of the most powerful and most requested Excel functions in today's workplace. And just like this pivot table series, I've created a complete step by step XLOOKUP series that starts from the basics and takes you all the way to real office scenarios. In this series, you will learn XLOOKUP basics, exact match versus approximation match, multiple criteria lookups, error handling and advanced users, and finally, read office scenarios where you will use XLOOKUP exactly the way professionals use it every day. Now, if this masterclass helped you become more confident with Excel, I'll really appreciate your support. Hit the like button so more people can discover this course. Leave a comment and tell me which Excel topic you would like me to cover next. And if you want to become an Excel and Office productivity expert, don't forget to subscribe to Office Cheat Codes and turn on the notification bell. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the XLOOKUP series.